Hi, g'day guys. Today I'm going to do a bunker shot, and I want to just talk about bounce just before we get into the bunker, and just explain a little bit how the bounce of the golf club works, or of your wedge works. So you can see as the club is resting on the table here, the leading edge is a little bit off the surface. So it's not completely flush with the surface, the leading edge of the golf club. All right. This particular wedge has got 8 degrees of bounce on. But you'll see as soon as so that is if the face lies square. But you'll see as soon as I open up the face, okay, the bounce increases a hell of a lot. Alright, so now all of a sudden you've increased the bounce and the club won't dig as easily as what the club would be in a more square position over there. Right, so as soon as I add a bit of loft to this wedge, alright, the bounce increases and the club won't dig as much. Okay, as soon as I have it more square, that will allow the club to dig a little bit more into the sand. So guys, again, you know, now that we've spoken about the bounce of the golf club, okay, and when we open up the club, you can see that the back part of the sole is actually resting, okay, on the ground. So that's what's going to make contact with the surface, the actual back part of the sole. So that will help the club to bottom out easy and not to carry on digging. Okay, so now how to use the bounce, okay, actually in the golf shot. The first thing we need to do is to assess how your ball is lying in the sand. Do I have a good lie? Something like that. Okay, so when the lie is good like that, I don't actually want the club to dig into the ground. Right? So then I'll add a little bounce so it will help the club to bottom out a little easier. Okay, if I have a bad lie, so let's just press this a little bit down, maybe a little plugged lie, or the sand is very firm. Okay, now I actually need the club to dig in a little bit. So what I'll do, I'll play this with a more square face club. I don't want to open up the face too much because I don't want to add too much bounce here. I actually want to get the club face quite square, right? So it can actually help the leading edge of the golf club to dig into the ground, so I can use the sand to pop the ball a little bit out. Okay, right, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to play one with a good lie and I'll play one with a bad lie. Right, so you'll see the setups are a little bit different. Okay, so I'm going to get myself nice and wide in the stance. I'm going to open, I've got a good lie here, so I don't need the club to dig too much. I actually want to take a nice shallow divot. Okay, so what will happen, okay, I'm going to open up the face a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to add bounce, the club won't dig in too much. Okay, and I'll take a nice shallow divot over here, as you can see. I've plugged the ball a little bit here. Of course, I need to get a little bit more underneath this. Okay, so I'm going to make sure the club digs more. So the setup will be different and my attack angle will obviously be different. But I'm also going to play around with the bounce. That's the big thing I want you guys to understand here. Right, so you can see my stance is not as wide. I'm maybe a bit more square on to my hole. Okay, the ball goes further back here. Alright, maybe a bit more weight on the left side. And I'll make sure I'm gonna hit down and the club can actually dig now. So what I've done here, I've taken bounce off the golf club and the leading edge is more gonna make contact with the surface. Okay. Alright, you can see a completely different shot. The divots are completely different. This one is a lot deeper than that one. Again, and I've just manipulated what I've done with the actual club here, and I've manipulated my angle of attack a little bit. Okay, I hope this helps you, but just trying to understand how you can manipulate bounce on the club yourself. Okay, for what type of shot you want to try to hit. And what's very important is to understand the surface that you're playing out of and how your ball's actually lying. Okay, I hope this tip helped you. See you next week.